Peace and welcome. Today we have our top 10 underground stage themes. First, let's get the guidelines out of the way. Number 1, a majority of the stage should be underground. It can start above ground or it can end above ground, but most of it should take place in an underground setting. Number 2, this includes mines, caves, tunnels, and anything else similar. Number 3, one per franchise. So yeah, don't take this list or any of our top 10s too serious. We aren't saying these are the best, but these just happen to be our favorites. So with no further delay, our top 10 favorite underground themes. Number 10. Double Dragon, Mission 3-2, The Cave. A classic game with a classic soundtrack. The Double Dragon games on the NES have fantastic soundtracks, and Double Dragon 1 started the trend. This track has an upbeat tempo and it sets the mood for one of the greatest beat-em-ups there is. The proper music in a game can have a huge effect. It makes it memorable and takes it to the next level. Number 9, Ducktales on the NES. African Mines. In one of the more underrated tracks on the list, I think because most people just care about the moon when it comes to DuckTales, but there are actually a lot of really good themes on the game. I wouldn't say this is the best theme on the game, but it just shows you how good the soundtrack really is. This tune can also be found on the remastered version of DuckTales. I think the remastered version of the soundtrack is done really well. They did a great job taking the original tracks from the game and giving them a more modern feel. However, in this case, I would still prefer the original African Mines on the NES. Number 8, Metroid, Brinstar. We could choose almost any of the Metroid music in the game, as pretty much the whole thing is underground, but we went with this theme because it's one of the most memorable tracks in the game. And as simple as it is, just like most of the Metroid themes in this game, it's catchy and has a sense of adventure. But a cautious adventure in a mysterious and unforgiving location. Number 7, Goldeneye 007, Subterranean Caverns. One of the all-time great soundtracks. I think the composer did a wonderful job capturing the 007 feel as well as the underground setting with this theme. The instruments and the note selection both work flawlessly to achieve and make me think of James Bond underground. It has a covert style of a feel, but also the cavernous feel one would expect with an underground mission. This soundtrack probably deserves its own top 10, and we may actually decide to do that one day. And if we do, expect to see this theme on that list. 6. Tenchu, Stealth Assassins. Rescuing the Captive Ninja. It's quite difficult to not include Tenchu in every top 10 list we do, but we try to always pick our favorites and stay true to ourselves. With that said, the Tenchu Stealth Assassin soundtrack is one of the greatest you will ever hear. It's unique and it's an amazing experience when paired with a game like Tenchu. This is one of the soundtracks in which I do own the actual CD, and it won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Tenchu is not only a great game, but one of the rare times when a great game has an even better soundtrack. Number 5. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Crystal Teardrops. Now, in my opinion, this Castlevania game has the best music of the franchise. It's not 8-bit bleeps and bloops, but it's in full CD quality. This allows the composer freedom to achieve more of what they want. They aren't limited by the hardware anymore, and this track really shows it off. Its clean synth sounds, mixed with the grimy drums in the background, start the track off in the right direction. But then the flute kicks in with an organ kicking in right after that. And then this track really starts to shine. Number 4. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Mystic Cave. I wouldn't blame you if you chose a different theme from Sonic. The series just has too much good music for everyone to agree on a single track. I am sure some people will pick Mystic Cave, while others will have a different favorite track entirely. Composed by Masato Nakamura, I really like the bass line. It's kind of funky, but it also has a dark element. While the synth sound that rides above the track starts off with an eerie sound and then changes into more of a groovy track. A good fit for an underground theme. Number 3. Super Mario Bros. Maybe the most iconic track on our list today, and also one of the most used themes in video games. It originates from the 1985 Super Mario Bros. Game, but you can find it in many newer games in the series as well, such as Super Mario 3. One of my favorite renditions of it comes from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where they added some extra sound effects and made it an entire beat with change-ups and all. Composed by the one and only Koji Kondo, this is one of the most well-known soundtracks in video game history. It has inspired many tracks and many people. You can find fan renditions for days on end, from pianos to guitars to pretty much any other instrument you can think of. Number 2. Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. the Forbidden Underground Waterway. Released on June 18th of 2019, this is the newest game on our list today. This theme would have been in our top 10 water themes, but we released that video just before the game was released, so we missed the chance. This theme is extremely good. It's catchy and has a very smooth vibe. At first it reminds me of Tenchu because of the acoustic guitar mixed with the piano, then the flute kicks in and it reminds me of something straight off Samurai Champloo. This sounds like a beat Nujabes would produce. It's just missing his drums. A beautiful track for a beautiful game. Overall, it's an outstanding track. So we have a few honorable mentions that we would like to mention. They just didn't make the cut this time. And we do have a dishonorable mention today, and it comes from Terminator on the NES. We don't always have a dishonorable mention, but when we do, it's a doozy. When it comes to this Terminator theme, what really needs to be said? It's disgusting and it's probably in the top 10 worst video game themes of all time. But we will save that list for another day. Number 1, Final Fantasy IV, Into the Darkness. One of my overall favorite 16-bit tracks. Composed by Nobuo Uematsu, this theme originates from the 1991 Final Fantasy IV. But this game has seen a few remakes since then. However, I do recommend the Super Nintendo game. Sometimes you can't beat the original. This theme barely beat out the Mines of Narsh from Final Fantasy VI. We just think this one has a certain element that helps it stand out. The feel of the theme really sums up the soundtrack well. Even if you don't like the franchise, if you like bleeps and bloops, then I recommend the Final Fantasy IV soundtrack. So there you have our top 10 underground themes. Coming up, we probably will do fire themes and top 10 all-time worst themes. So if you know any of the two, feel free to comment. You might make an episode. And if you have any other ideas for top 10s, feel free to let us know. We will try to get to it sooner or later. Anyways, for now, I'm ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.